All right. Well, welcome to those who can join live today in the October 8th SIG architecture meeting. Just a reminder, this is a recorded meeting uploaded to YouTube for posterity. And so let's just be on our best behaviors. We have a relatively light agenda today and a smaller group of participants. So the first item on here we could just talk through was raised by Lori around trying to close out any items specific to, looks like the original source issue is about getting KEPs out of the community repo into a separate location. I think my initial read on this, and unfortunately I don't know Lori's context, was that we've largely completed that task. Like the design docs have largely shifted out of the community repo. I'm curious if others are aware of tasks that were being tracked here that maybe Lori hadn't yet been introduced to that we could enumerate and help guide her in her absence. But my first view is that this work was largely done. I don't know if others feel differently.
For the designs bit, I think it's in proposals bit. I think the KEP work is mostly done. I was trying to look up thread. It looked like there was discussion between Brian and Aaron like 2 years ago about some of the guidance documents that live in this repo. So like the API changes and API conventions bits. So like most issues that have an and in the title, I think half of this issue is done and the other half is not.
So maybe we should just split the issue into two and close on this one.
Yeah, that comment I just threw into Zoom is the main one that I think is not resolved.
Let me just get that in our notes.
So if we scope this to proposals, we can say proposals are KEPs, KEPs are in enhancements, that's done. Guidelines, those types of documents still need to be resolved. So.
Yeah. Okay. Well, hopefully I can follow up with Lori after she's got some hopefully delicious food. That was the only other major item aside from standing order of business. Maybe I'll pause here and see if anyone else wanted to raise a particular topic not yet thrown on the agenda for discussion. Otherwise, we can just transition to any updates you want to do on the sub-projects.
I did want to point people to the label ACL metadata policy discussion. Since it wasn't on the agenda, we probably shouldn't dive into it here, but that was brought up on the list, and I think that would be a good thing to visit in a future meeting. So take a look at the mailing list and the linked docs and think about that. If you're interested, weigh in on the docs, and we'll probably put that in the agenda for next time.
Just for my own context, is that the discussion where Tim Auclair and company were talking about a separate metadata block? Or I think I'm just trying to understand.
There were like three discussions that are sort of related that all got started around the same time. So Tim was asking about use of selectors and labels on namespaces for purposes of policy.
Yep. Okay.
Tim Auclair, so that was Tim Hawken. Tim Auclair was talking about metadata policy and whether like policying the existing things or adding a new field to hold like cluster owned metadata. Anyway, these all intersect, and yeah.
All right. Jordan, if you'd be kind enough to put a link to that maybe on the agenda for folks that are looking afterwards, we could.
Sure.
All right, so with that, we can maybe transition to the sub-project readouts. John is out.
I can probably cover for him.
Oh, perfect, Wojtek. Do you just want to get started now on that?
Sure, I can. I may miss something because I wasn't prepared for that, but hopefully nothing important. So basically, we wanted to make production readiness actually required for release for caps or for proposals targeting 120 released, but we literally realized week ago that like we didn't update the cap template, so that no one was really aware of that. So unfortunately, it's still not required. It's recommended. We will be also working with like there are at least probably 10, 15, something like that in that release of caps that actually filled that already. So people, at least some people, are looking into that and are paying attention to that, which is cool. We will be working with others like after the freeze, so that they will fill that. Obviously, we can't block them if they don't do that, because we didn't announce it, but we will be working with them. From my experience in the 119 release cycle, people were actually keen. Like when I was pinging them to fill that, they were doing that. Not immediately, but like many of them like filled that after all, and we went through them. I think there aren't any significant changes from the 119 release in terms of questions or anything like that. We didn't get any like significant feedback that some questions doesn't work or make sense or doesn't make sense or anything like that. The two issues that we currently see that we would like to attack somehow are the first one is like tooling on our side and ensuring that for example only PRR team can approve PRRs and no one else. How to organize and how to enforce that people will be filling them, and how we track them. So mostly like I would call it more tooling thing, which is purely for us and probably for the release team to be able to track PRRs. And second thing, which is more like really question related, is there are a number of caps or proposals that are adding a field adding a field in the API, for example, to introduce a new feature, and we would like to be able to monitor number of workloads, for example, using this feature or something like that. But we don't like for now. We are because of lack of like other better ideas that will result in like introducing a dedicated, very oriented metrics. We decided that it's fine to like have that discoverability done via listing the objects with particular filter, like kubectl list pods and do some filtering on the fields to check which pods have this field set or whatever other objects. But we would like to get to the point where we will have some metrics, and we don't yet have good idea how to do that. It's something that we will be thinking about it. So those are probably the two things on top of like the ongoing reviews and stuff like that we are going to look in the next couple weeks. And I think that's mostly it.
Awesome. Thanks, Wojtek. I think you did a perfect impression of John. Are any other representatives for the additional sub-projects available when I give an update? I haven't looked at the latest attendance list. I know Lori's not here for enhancements.
I didn't have a lot new from the API review stuff a couple weeks ago, or a couple calls ago.
All right. Well, if there are no other major topics we want to address today, I'm happy to give everybody back their 45 minutes. All right, cool. Well, thanks those who were able to join. And Dims, I see you're just able to join, and you're here at the end now. So we had a very efficient meeting. All right, all the best, everyone. I'll talk to you guys later.
Thank you. Cheers.
Thanks.